This is 180. We'll see how it feels. Oh my God. Yo, my wife bought one of the last 10 of these off of Amazon, and today we're gonna review it. Currently, these do say out of stock off Amazon. I do think maybe you could buy it off their website, and it does seem cheaper to start, but after shipping, handling, and then taxes, you end up around the same price. So Amazon or off their website, pick one, good to go. Anyway, here is the Gear for Fit freestanding leg extension and leg curl review. Starting with packaging. These are coming from Canada, so I'm glad they came in 2 separate packages, because otherwise one big package would have been kind of heavy. But this is 13 kilograms, so it's about 28 pounds. And then this one is 16.5 kilograms, or around 35 pounds. And so separating the piece into 2 packages is probably better, because it would have been 55 pounds total otherwise. And even as they are now, I knew they arrived because the delivery person kind of slammed this heavier one, 35-pound one. And so I knew it was at the door. But the boxes themselves don't really look that damaged, so I expect good things from the insides. Let's check it out. So I'm sure you can kind of tell from there, but this is just free flowing. Nothing's really stopping it from jiggling from side to side. This is the base. And then this same thing. There was really nothing stopping them from moving around except maybe this. And then we got hardware. Then we got all the leg rollers in here. This one is a little bit better packed, but it's really just the leg rollers that are keeping everything in place. Seems like the vinyl is replaceable. They have like strings on here that makes it easy to slip off. And the rubber itself, it's pretty dense, feels pretty good. It does have a 1-inch horn so that you could put standard plates on here, and then of course the 2-inch one. All right, that's everything. I will say the big things, except for the base, were bubble wrapped extremely well. And the leg rollers just had plastic on them, but I don't think they really needed the bubble wrap. I'm not really noticing any damage whatsoever. And it is powder coated, so that's real nice. Anything that has weight on it does look like it has pretty good welding. And then the push pins just have spot welds on either side, but it doesn't really need welding all around like anything weight bearing does, so it's pretty good. Assembly for the base seems pretty easy. It's just these 2 big parts. Then we got 2 different kinds of bolts, just 4 total, 4 nuts, and then 8 washers, 2 per bolt. Gonna go ahead and assemble it. Oh shoot, the time is 12:32. Sorry, I started maybe a couple minutes ago. I don't know. So let's say we started at 12:30 and then assembling. This doesn't come with any wrenches. You need your own wrenches for all these nuts and bolts, but that's basically it for this. That's it for the base. It is now 12:39. If it didn't take me so long just to figure out which tools to use, probably could have been done in 5 minutes. But I kind of suck, so 10 minutes for the base. The wheels are super nice, so it's pretty easy to move around. Let's see. This one's a little more complex, so it will definitely take longer than 10 minutes. Wish me luck. Comes with 12 of these little tiny guys right here. You're definitely not gonna wanna lose those. And they go into these holes. It'll be a 2.5 millimeter or a 5/64 inch Allen wrench. So I finished at 102, started at around 12:30. All in, it took me about 30 minutes to finish, so not too bad. When putting it together, everything kind of seemed high quality. The push pins slide relatively easy, relatively. I mean, it moves smoothly. There's a stopper here, so it doesn't really affect the metal. There's a tiny bit of wobble. That's from over here, where the top piece connects with the base. Oh, it's because the push pin was out. And then you can also tighten this down, so I guess that would get rid of the wobble there. Oh yeah, wow. This is really well built, actually. The only thing is, there is a little bit of bend here. Picture right there. So it bends a little to the left. So when you're sitting in it, it bends this way. In its most compact form, this thing is 34 inches long, 23 inches wide, and 29 inches tall. But it is very adjustable, so it doesn't have to be 29 inches tall. Ta-da! So the base does have wheels and a handle, so how easy is it to move? I would say it's pretty easy. The leverage really mostly goes on the wheels, and then, I mean, all my flooring is pretty easy, so. My wife can also move it pretty easily, which is important for when she wants to work out without me. La-da-dee, la-da-doo. Give me a twirl. A king. The vinyl itself feels like, I guess, like leather. I would attribute it more to my French Sport Wonder Bench rather than my Rep AB 4100, which is super grippy. But I think I would like it, and the firmness of the padding is pretty good. Like I can't possibly feel that metal bar in there. So there's adjustability 3 ways, and that's with the leg curl can go out and in. The leg extension can do the same, and then the actual height of where it fits underneath your knee also adjusts. So that's some good versatility, I'd say. This is my French Sport Wonder Bench. It's 18 inches tall, and right now this is at its lowest setting. As far as leg extensions go, I'm sitting pretty comfortable right now. Obviously it's not loaded, so. As far as leg curls go, if these rollers swiveled around more, that would be pretty good. But as it stands, it does kind of feel like it's lacking a little bit. It slides down on my leg and it kind of feels just a hair uncomfortable. So just finished a workout with this. A few notes. One is that when your knees are actually in line with the pivot point or fulcrum, the curl does actually feel pretty good. And it does, with that, it makes a better range of motion. So I just didn't make sure that I did that before, but when it's there, I feel resistance to about right here, and that's almost full range of motion. So it's pretty good. This is my AB 4100 from Rep. It does seem like this plate can't slide fully underneath because of the wheels, but I don't imagine that should affect it that much. The bench itself is at only 17 inches tall, so this kind of, it doesn't seem like it'd be uncomfortable, but the leg extensions are still pretty good. My heels are kind of touching the ground though at the bottom. Maybe I could raise it up a little bit. Oh, this still feels pretty comfortable, so. This is raised. My knees are in line with the hinge. Feels pretty good. As far as curls, it'll probably be the same issue as before, but we'll test it. Yeah, and the stoppage there also isn't that great, since I could go just a little bit further. That is probably why they put this hook here. That way you could create a better resistance for it, but that still limits your range of motion. And all that banging is digging into this metal here from this edge here. The max capacity is listed as 500 pounds on this, so let's see what it can handle. This is 180. We'll see how it feels. Oh my God. That is actually a good resistance curve. So, I wouldn't say my legs are the weakest in the world, but I did expect to do that. So just 90 pounds, let's see that. This is great resistance, all the way through. Just 90 pounds. Ooh. Yeah, I'd grow to love that. Let's see how curls do when weighted. Once weighed down, this actually does feel pretty good as a leg curl. I didn't feel that same uncomfortability as I did without any weight on it. So that's good news so far. Another thing they advertise is that this can be used for Bulgarian split squats. And I mean, with it like this, it definitely can. And I'm sure it can handle like a decent amount of weight because this is meant to hold weight. But you already have the bench if you're buying this. So I would not buy this specifically for Bulgarian split squats. That's kind of redundant. Another thing is that they advertise that this hook can be used for rows. And I didn't even try that, to be honest, but I'll do it right now. So how's it work with rows? It's fine, but because my arms are a little longer, I don't feel like that good stretch, you know? And I could come back further, but at the top here, there's like very little resistance. So it's not the best thing. I would not buy this for rows either. Either. I'm probably not the best person to advertise this, but they do show Nordic curls being used as well. I'm 270 something pounds right now. So I do need assistance with this. I will be doing like a lift off. Ooh. I haven't done real Nordic curls on something that's specifically made for it, but that doesn't feel too bad. And I definitely do feel it in my hamstrings, so that's a pretty good one. Something they don't advertise, but I just wanted to kind of test out, just experimenting a little bit, is that you can do back extensions on this if you put weights on the bench and then also flip this around. Well, I don't know how it would affect any ladies watching this, but My manhood kind of gets affected by these. And so taking this hook off, which I'll probably never use because I don't want to roll on this, and then flipping this around so the pull pin is on the other underside, and then leaning forward, and there we go, back extensions. And that feels pretty good too. Like I said, these are supposed to be able to handle weight. So my body just being on that, leaning on it, no worries there for me. I would probably have a little more weight because just then I did feel the bench pick up a bit. But overall, it's pretty good for back extensions too, even though they don't advertise it for that. Another thing is storability. It has none, none at all. So like, well, I guess if you take this off, you can stow that upright and then you'll just have this that you can put near it. But then like, this is still taking up a good amount of room, so what's the point? The current footprint that it takes up, that 34 by 23 inches, I think, is how much storage space it'll take up. As far as would it tip, if you're sitting on the bench and the bench is on that platform at the bottom here, then no shot. No shot this tips. If you're not on, let's see. It kind of feels like the center of gravity is pretty low, so I don't think it would tip over. So even right here, I feel like it would go back to normal. It's pretty good. Let's show you from the front. Even this far right here, it'll go back. So it's pretty good too. Stable as hell, more than me. All the weight you put onto the pin is really only on the lever arm, and that focuses all the weight onto this post. At a 500-pound cap, I couldn't even do 180, so this leaves me a lot of room for growth, and that is really what I'm looking for in any piece of equipment. So good stuff. Hopefully the review has been good so far. If you like it, go ahead and drop me a sub so I can do more reviews and hopefully get monetized. That way I could supplement my gym even more. Help me, help you, help me. So how's this compared to the competition? Well, the Bells of Steel and the Titan rack-mounted leg extension leg curls are both around 400 bucks each, and this is just 300 off of Amazon, and around 330 after taxes. But those also get taxed even if they are shipped free also. The fact that there's resistance all the way through because it starts off a little higher than something like the rack-mounted leg extension does is great. I love the resistance in this. But it wouldn't be as good as something from, say, Lion's Cool, that also does both these exercises, but does it with a pulley instead of weight loaded like this. Well, it is weight loaded, but they use a pulley, so there's always resistance. And it doesn't really need a bench. It's just that it's bigger, so it takes up more space. But it does look like it would be more comfortable too. So all in, this is still lacking, but for the price, I would say that this is even better than that is. And it's cheaper, easier to move, easier to set up. We'll get into that comparison right now. I did do a comparison video between the Bells of Steel rack-mounted leg extension leg curl and the Titan's version. So for the sake of simplicity for this comparison, I'm just gonna say Bells of Steel unless otherwise mentioned because they're basically interchangeable. Starting with setup, the gear fit wins this hands down. The Bells of Steel is the lighter rack-mounted piece and it's still 65 pounds. Titan's is a whopping 85. I ended up buying a second rack purely just to have it permanently mounted. Now, I just have to roll this around. GG's over easy, baby. Another important note for most of us is that this, my wife can set up by herself, but this, she cannot. She just rolls it around and sets up a bench. This one, I have to be the one to put it onto the post. So if I'm not home, she's not doing it. Not that she would skip all of leg day, because we got like a leg press, you can do squats, calf raises, everything else, just not leg extensions or leg curls. And she really likes those, so that kind of sucks. But I can't see them doing anything else because this is pretty compact, more compact than that, and if you have a rack, then you can do this. So setup, I would give it the Gear for Fit, but who am I? The rack mounted pieces, the bells of steel can go up to 250 pounds on the weight pin, and then the user themselves can also be 250 pounds. I've been using it even though I'm 260, 270, and I've had no issues, but I could see it being warped over time as the years drag on. So, but 250 max. The Titans is 275, which isn't much more. This is 500. And with the 250 max, if I'm using both legs, easy. That one, I put 180 pounds on it, could not lift it. 90 pounds felt like good working weight. So this allows more room for growth for me, whereas this one did not. I had to put a band on, I had to do one leg at a time, just more work. And it's costly. So the bells of steel doesn't really start resistance until probably about right here, which is like a 45-degree angle from the rack. I mean, it's like a lever arm. So to navigate around that, I would put a band on the weight pin to make resistance all the way through. But then really it's just the band resistance up until a certain point, and then I would start feeling the weight. With that, I don't need anything. I could just put weight on and then immediately start my workout. So that wins for the resistance curve. So how does weight compare? I have 90 pounds on both right now, and I'll start with this. Ooh, 20 reps, and I could have done a few more, but I was already feeling kind of gassed. So immediately I'm going on to that. And you'll see that with both legs, man, easy. There was 20 reps, and that was already after I was gassed with that one. So how do these compare as far as weight goes or weight feeling? I would pick that one over this one 100% of the time. Plus that one allows me to reach higher heights because I can do greater weight on it. I'm only doing 90 pounds of its 500 pound max. And then this one, when fresh, I've been able to do 3 plates with a band for one leg easily. So this one's fine if you're limited on space, but if you have the space, that one's the move. Another thing to consider is the anchor point of the leg roller. And I've seen it on big machines with weight stack as well, where the anchor point is on one end of the leg roller, creating a tilt in the leg roller. I'm not sure if you can see here, but they even had it pictured on the Bells of Steel website that there is a slight tilt to it. And there's really no way around it unless you put the anchor in the center of where your feet go. So this even beats some of those machines in this department, because having the anchor point in the center allows for even muscle development. Not that I noticed any uneven muscle development with that, but now I never will. As far as comfortability goes, I would say that they're about the same. The vinyl on both, honestly, feels like exactly the same. I can't tell the difference. For the foam, this one does feel like it's a little less firm than this one. It has more give to it, but that could be because I've been using it for about 1.5 years, so take that one with a grain of salt. The vinyl of the seat, though, is pretty similar to the AB 4100. That one doesn't have a seat. The seat would be whatever seat you have for your bench. So as far as comfortability of the exercises, I feel a better stretch for my leg extensions with that one, but I feel like the leg curls on this one are just like a hair better. but I hate standing leg curls, so but I do get full range of motion when I do it, rather than that one that kind of stops because of the way it's built and engineered. The rack-mounted leg extension leg curl is still pretty good, and if they were able to put the weight out a little bit more, it would help with that resistance curve, rather than adding bands like I would normally do. I have seen people hook up a cable system to this other side here, which would help with the resistance curve as well as the tilt, but that just seems like so much extra things to put onto something that should be almost all-inclusive anyway, besides being attached to a rack. But whether they re-engineer the shape of it to help that resistance curve, or you use external equipment to help with it, this already costs more than the Gear for Fit leg extension leg curl, and it isn't quite as good as that one is, being a freestanding leg curl. All of that was my thoughts on the Gear for Fit unit. What do you think about it? And you better sub for more in-depth till death reviews. As always, stay hungry.